are listening to the Estheticians Earning More podcast with Brittany Hageman, episode number 193. Do you want to double your business in 1 year? Are you an esthetician solo business owner that is very, very tired because you are working for every single dollar that you earn? Are you making between $5,000 and $7,000 a month consistently in your esthetician business? And the only way that you can see that you can make more money is to add more hours? Is the money going out of your business just as fast as it's coming in? Do you feel like you're on the verge of burnout? Do you not understand how other estheticians can actually make a profit? If you say yes to any of these questions, I can help you. In my one-to-one 6-month individualized coaching program, I will teach you to double your business in 1 year. I combine proven strategies and business systems along with mindset coaching to teach you how to change the systems in your business that aren't making you money. My clients that have incorporated all of these systems into their business consistently have seen phenomenal results. If you're interested in working with me, use the link in the show notes. I cannot wait to meet you. Happy Monday and welcome back. I am so excited to be back today and especially excited for today's episode. It is an interview with a marketing expert, and although I do teach marketing to my clients, that's not the sole thing that I do. And the person I have on today is marketing is all she does, and she's really good at it. So I do recommend her to people who are just looking for marketing and don't need help with multiple aspects of their business. I am speaking about none other than Shaylee Hancock, the founder and CEO of Glow Sis Social. Shaylee has transformed the way aesthetics professionals approach marketing globally. With over 3,000 students in 40 plus countries, Shaylee is known for helping both professionals and students master simple, sustainable marketing strategies that grow their clientele. Outside of her work, Shaylee is a dedicated wife and mom of two, balancing her life in Laramie, Wyoming, with her passion for helping aesthetics professionals succeed. Her commitment to creating balance between family and entrepreneurship mirrors her approach to helping professionals achieve their personal and career success. This is such an unbelievable episode. Had so much fun talking to Shaylee. Shaylee asked me to be in her membership and to speak about marketing over a year ago, and that's how we got introduced, and that was such an honor and so special for me as well. And when we recorded this, I was so sick, but it took us months to get our calendars synced together so we could record it. And so I look very sick in this call, and I did try to mute myself when I was coughing, but listening back to it, I did accidentally get a couple coughs in there, so I'm very sorry about that. But our conversation is such a great conversation, especially if you're struggling with marketing. If you feel like that is just the egg you cannot crack, we talk about all the things that we hear consistently estheticians struggle with and what we think that you should do instead. It's a very honest conversation. It is a very uplifting conversation. And I hope you walk away with learning some things and feeling excited and confident about what you can do in your business. But before we jump in to today's episode, I'm going to tell you about something I'm doing that I've never done before. I'm doing a one-time workshop on raising your prices. So I've never done workshops like this before because this is actually a paid workshop. I'm giving you the tools that I give to my one-on-one clients to help them raise their prices. I've created a toolkit that I help my clients raise their prices, which includes a formula that helps you see if your prices are too low, and it can help you figure out what the right price would be to make a profitable pricing in your business. And then additionally to that, for this workshop, I'm creating a plan for you to roll out your prices to your clients in your business, along with scripts and other resources to help it go as smoothly as possible. And then at the end of all of that, I will be coaching you on your fears and any obstacles that are in your way, as well as talking about your prices. We can talk about where your prices are going to be. Anything you need help with around pricing in that call will be that workshop. So right now there's an early bird special. If you decide to sign up for the workshop now, it's $45. After April 4th, it's going to go up to $60. And the workshop is Monday, April 21st at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you have any questions, please let me know. And with that, on with today's episode. Hi, Shaylee. Thank you so much for being on the podcast today.
Thank you. Yes, Brittany, it's so great to be here. I really appreciate you reaching out and I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm so excited to talk to you. And I know we just spoke before we started recording, but we spoke a year ago and I was on your
Glow and
membership.
Grow community. Yes,
Okay.
exactly. Yep. You had a workshop in there. Everyone absolutely loved it. It's so great.
Yeah. So I was like, I want more podcast guests, and you're one of the first people on my list. So I was so excited. You said yes, and we scheduled. It's hard to get our schedules aligned.
Yes, it is.
But we did it. So
Thank you.
So tell everyone a little bit about you and what you do.
Yeah, so I'm Shaylee. I'm the founder and CEO of Glow Sis Social. We provide marketing education resources for estheticians and aesthetics industry professionals.
And what specifically, like, talk about what your products are just off the bat and your experience, and then we can kind of get into, we just want to have some marketing chat.
Yeah, I love it. So I'll kind of go with my experience first. So my background is in marketing. I have a bachelor's degree in marketing, and that's what I've always done. And it's always been for the aesthetics industry specifically. So when I very first started out, I was working for, this was like years ago, I was working for a social media marketing agency specifically for estheticians. And that's really where I was introduced to the industry. And I just immediately fell in love. And I think to myself all the time, like in a past life or in my other life, I would totally be an esthetician. I love that. But I'm not going to say too old because it's never too late, but yeah, it's never too late. But I love what I do and I love who I serve. And I just know that I am in the right place right now. So after I started seeing one-on-one, or after I worked at that agency, I then branched out on my own because I had more experience than just social media and I didn't really want to be confined to that box. And I know that I, had more to give to the industry than just social media management. So I branched out on my own. I started taking my own one-on-one clients who were solo estheticians, who were med spas, really all sorts of, the range of what you can do with your career. And I did social media marketing, I did email marketing, I built websites, built ads for people and graphics and all kinds of things. And, when my clients started seeing incredible results and I was like, oh my gosh, this is awesome, get all excited for them. I was like, everyone needs to know about this. All estheticians everywhere need to know about the things that I'm doing and how they can implement it into their business. But what I realized is two things. Number one, I am just one person. I cannot see a million clients, as we all know. And number two, not everyone is in the position to be able to hire someone one-on-one. There's different situations there. So what I did was I decided to take all of my knowledge, all of my experience, and put it into a step-by-step program where they would be able to go in and get my knowledge and get my expertise and implement it on their own with the support of me on the side. That way I can expand my reach and be able to serve many more people than I could just one-on-one. So that program is called Socially Empowered Aesthetics, and it was previously called Socially Empowered Estheticians. And I decided to do a slight name change because I did see so many more niches than just estheticians, makeup artists, PMU artists, waxer, the whole shebang. So anyways, that's my main program. It's absolutely amazing. And then I also have a complimentary membership that we briefly talked about. It's called the Glow and Grow Community. It is just so incredible. The estheticians and professionals in there are so supportive. They're so supportive, so active, so engaged. And so it's like a combination between education and a Facebook group. So we have the community portion, and then we have, all of the other education. You get trending audios and monthly marketing education resources, so many things. So those are the two programs that I have, and it's absolutely amazing. I love it.
I love that. And it's needed. Marketing, I think, is something that most estheticians struggle with as business owners. And I think that's where people kind of get tripped up a lot. So what do you think is the hardest part about marketing for esthetician business owners if you had to choose?
By far, there are a lot.
Yes, you can just go through them all.
That I hear. There's a lot that I hear, but I would say the number one is consistency, and there's a lot that goes into that.
Yeah, let's talk more about that. Yeah.
Yeah, so consistency, for everyone, anyone that is trying to run their business, have a family, have a personal life.
Yeah.
The last thing that they want to be doing is spending their time creating content for social media.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, like the people that you and I serve, solo estheticians mainly, they don't have the means yet to be able to bring on a marketing employee or someone. So they're having to do it all. And I think that I haven't really talked about this a lot. I love this conversation, but I think that subconsciously there's resentment there, maybe.
Yes.
There's resentment from, they had this big dream of going to school, being an esthetician, and then having these big wild dreams, and they're all going to come true, and then it's going to be amazing. And then they go to school and they get excited, and maybe they start out at a spa or wherever, and then when they do go out on their own, it's like, holy crap, I didn't know all of the things that I was going to have to do behind the scenes to be able to do what I wanted to do. And I think that's where the resentment comes in, maybe. I don't know. Do you see that?
100%. 100%. It's like, I talked to a lot of estheticians over the past 5 years, and one of the main things that I hear is the expectation of like the money should be flowing in by now. It should be easier and the money should be flowing in. And even the expectation that if I am doing well in my business, that means I don't have to market anymore. Like those two are connected. Like success means no longer marketing. And like that always really surprises me, because the most successful estheticians that I know, that I've worked with, or I'm just in colleagues with, market so much. They are the top people on my feed of stories and posts.
Absolutely. And I think it's hard for other estheticians to see that, because then the comparison happens. It's like, oh, they're so successful, and how are they they're doing all of the things. Why can't I do that? Why is it so hard? But I think that the thing to remember is that you don't see everything. They might have someone helping them with their social. They might have an assistant or a social media marketer. Maybe they don't either. But, going back to what you and I do, Brittany, is, we're here to help you not have to go the hard way and get through it on your own. It's okay to ask for help. It's okay to get help. It doesn't mean that you're any less. It doesn't mean, that you're incapable. It's just, it is hard to do it on your own. And that's why you and I, have made these programs or offers to help you get from point A to point B a lot faster than you would on your own, and marketing specifically, you did not go to school to learn marketing. And I wish that marketing was taught in schools. And actually, I've been working with a lot of schools to, start that process of getting that in there, because it is so important. And, if you're listening, I want you to know that it doesn't have to be that hard. It is still going to take work, but hopefully, you put in this quote unquote work where we're not going to work you into the ground, but we're going to give you the tools to make it a little easier. But eventually you will get to the point where you can hire a social media marketer, or you can bring an assistant onto your team to help you with the little things that, you just don't enjoy doing. Because when you have to put in that work first, of course, but once you get to that point, the less things that you have to do that you just hate doing, there's friction around, the easier it's going to be to scale and grow.
One of the things you just said that I thought was really interesting, that I've heard from so many people, is that esthetician business owners that don't naturally have a marketing mind, and they don't have that experience, and they don't see it. Like, obviously there's
people out there who naturally their brain works that way, and that's why it's been quote unquote easier for them, because they didn't have they just did it. It wasn't something they had to learn. But people do feel like they are less than other people because they don't have that natural skill set or that natural inclination. And that is such a toxic way of looking at it, because if you always believe that, it's going to be really hard to do it.
Yes, I agree 100%. And one of the things that I've done in my own business, because it's a natural human thing to compare yourself, right? And one thing that I've done, and also one thing that I, really encourage the estheticians in my circle to do, are to just shut it all out. Like, if you have to unfollow people, if you have to stop consuming content for a while, it's so much easier to not compare when you aren't constantly seeing what everyone else is doing. And it's not that you don't want to support and be, have a network. It has nothing to do with that. It has everything to do with how you are going to get from where you are now to where you want to be, and making sure that you don't have those distractions, because those distractions are not going to get you to where you want to be. And it's so much easier that way.
Yeah, you have a human brain, and my audience knows that have been listening to my podcast. They know I've said the same thing. And again, it's not about not commuting people, trying to help people. Right. It's about, if you see what everybody else is doing, it will discourage you. It does not inspire you. And instead, following other people from other industries that are not beauty at all related, and seeing what they're doing and being inspired by that is inspiring. You can be like, oh, I like that idea. I'm going to use it for me. That is such a better way of consuming social media.
Yes. And I love that you said that, because that's one of the things that I teach is how can you expect to create unique content that's going to stand out if you're just recreating or using, inspiration from the aesthetics industry? It's just not going to happen. I love that you said that, because there are so many times, in the membership, for example, I give reel prompts every week. And a lot of the times it's from a real estate agent, or, so many different industries out there. Because you want to stand out, and you're not going to be able to stand out and connect with your clients if you're just doing the same thing that everyone else is doing, right?
Yeah.
Your creativity is shut in almost when you're just seeing the same things in your industry. You have to step outside that box.
Yeah. And again, you can be supportive of other people, but you don't have to be their number one supporter, liking and consuming all their content. It doesn't do anything good for your algorithm. It doesn't do anything good for your brains. It doesn't help your clients, which is the whole point of you owning the business. Those other estheticians are never going to buy from you.
Yes. Oh, I love that you're saying this too, because that's actually one thing that I wanted to talk about and I talk about this all the time in all of my content. It's the same thing. I feel like estheticians get their goals imbalanced with social media.
Yes.
and it's not that they're doing it intentionally. It's just what they see everyone else doing, what they see everyone else doing, what they think they should be doing. And it's just a lack of knowledge, no fault of their own. But I see all the time, all of these estheticians are sharing other estheticians' posts to their stories. Their other estheticians are commenting and liking. And that's great if you have a separate networking professional account. But if that's happening on your business account where you are trying to attract and book local clients, that is not helping you at all. Nope. Everything that you should be doing on your business account should be trying to connect with local businesses, local people, trying to bring them into your circle so that you can, get them on your books, right? But sharing other estheticians' posts onto your stories, or, creating content that talks about the ingredient, detailed, ingredients, you're potentially, no one cares. Potential clients do not want to see that, and it's not going to get you any closer to your goals.
No, it's going to make the other estheticians think that you're impressive, which is great, but it's not going to fill your books.
Right, exactly.
Yeah,
And,
and
go ahead. I was just going to say, if you want to have that network, and I think that that's actually really important, do so on a separate account. Absolutely.
Yeah, totally. And you, I mean, my private account, I would have my esthetician friends, but I still, when I was growing my esthetician business, I kept my esthetician group very small for this reason.
Mm-hmm.
And again, like I think I talked about with you last year when we spoke, was like, I support you. I like that we are friends in the industry, but I'm not consuming your content.
Right.
And it's not a slight to you at all, but it won't help me.
Right. And if you're one that has all of the time in the world, go for it. But I can guarantee you don't.
No.
And you're not to where you want to be yet. And so that's, maybe that signal for you of, oh, maybe I shouldn't spend my time doing this, right?
Yes. And it's easier to do that. It's easier to consume than to create, but it's really hard to create if all you do is consume.
Yes, absolutely. And really, I mean, going back to the creativity part, even just scrolling on social media, it subconsciously blocks your creativity. Like some of the things that I have, my community do are just literally stop. Don't even open your social media for just 2 days.
Yeah.
2 days can make the world of difference. And I have this idea, or I have this idea, and it's coming from your brain. It's your creativity. And I can guarantee you those posts that you put out are going to perform and convert so much better than the other types of content.
100%. I never get inspired by watching other people's content. Really, it's from talking to my clients or like I'm doing dishes. I'm about to fall asleep. And I'm like, oh, let me write that down. Like that idea popped into my head. That's when the ideas come. It's not from looking at what people in my industry are doing.
Yeah. And I love that you said that you get ideas from your clients. I think that's a really important thing that estheticians need to know and remember, is that you have unlimited content ideas just by doing the work that you're doing every day. I think that oftentimes they just forget to pay attention to those things.
Yeah.
The things that your clients are asking you every day, that they're talking to you about, that's your content. That is your content, because if they are asking you those questions, if they're talking about that concern with their skin or whatever it is, other people in the same area, local area, those people are having those same questions, concerns. That is what you should be creating your content off of.
Mm-hmm. And I think people think that is too simple and if it's that easy, it kind of like, I wrote down something else that you had said, because like that seems like boring and simple, and they feel that for marketing to be good, it has to be hard. And one of the things that you said was like, it doesn't have to be hard. Mm-hmm. Let's talk more about that. Like this, for people who naturally aren't have a marketing brain, or they don't think they do, they have this perception that it should be very hard, and that taking ideas from their clients is stupid, it's boring, nobody's going to care about it, so they just dismiss those ideas before they even come up.
Yes, that is so true. And I think that comes from subconsciously consuming all of these other estheticians' content. I think that subconsciously in your esthetician mind, you're thinking that it's boring. Right. But when you flip the script and think, who am I really trying to speak to? Who am I really trying to connect to? It's people that don't know anything really about what you know. And so to you, it might seem very simple and easy and nobody's going to care. But I'll tell you who's going to care. It's the person that is, struggling with what you're trying to help them with. They're going to care. And my motto for this last year and this year and everything moving forward is simple, intentional, and sustainable. That is what I go off of. I call it the SIS method. It's simple, intentional, and sustainable. And the simpler you can make your marketing, the better it's going to perform. 100%. Like you said, it does not have to be crazy complicated. And so for example, I talk a lot about using industry terminology and how detrimental that can be to your marketing. So for example, if you are if you're helping someone with their hyperpigmentation, don't use the word hyperpigmentation.
Right.
The normal people that you are trying to serve are going to see that and they're going to scroll right by. But if you say something like dark spots or sunspots, immediately they are going to feel that connection with you and they're going to pause for a minute, and then your marketing can do the rest for you.
Yeah.
But seriously, the simpler you make your marketing, the better it's going to perform. And if you think that it's this is too simple, too boring, you've hit your golden ticket. That's what you need to post. Right? If you're to yourself thinking, oh, this is boring or this is simple, then you're doing the right thing. That's what you should be.
That's what you should be doing. 100%. And I'm an esthetician. I have worked with estheticians, and there's these new, and I've been talking about this in my stories as well, and talking to my clients. It's just all these new modalities that have come out since I've been in the treatment room that I've heard about. Like, I've heard about the glacial, I've heard about jet plasma, I've heard about diamond glow. And I know what the results are supposed to be from these modalities, but I don't know what it looks like, what the treatment looks like. I don't have any knowledge of these things, even as an esthetician. And so, like, I recently wanted to get one of these services done, and I was like, but what happens in each of these services? Like, how can I follow thousands of estheticians, and a lot of them do these services, and I don't have a good understanding of what happens in any of these services. Why is that? Because nobody's marketing, not nobody, but a lot of people are not marketing effectively and explaining who is it for, how the service is going to look, what the results are going to be, what the downtimes, like, they don't explain it in a way that I could quickly understand it.
Exactly. And I think, that comes right back down to breaking it down in the most simple terms. Make it so simple that someone who has never even heard about it anymore, like ever, can understand it.
Mm-hmm.
Break it down to where like a 12-year-old can understand it, because that's truly when someone is being introduced to something completely new, that is the level that they are going to understand.
Yes.
And so I think really, really thinking about that before you post and before you create your content schedule for the month, thinking about how can I make this the most simple, and not only will it convert better and be better for you long term, it's going to be easier for you too. I think these estheticians just overcomplicate everything at no fault to themselves, because that is what they're consuming. Again, we come back to the consuming. That's what their subconscious thinks is what's going to get them booked, and so they go in this hamster wheel, and they're burning out, they're pulling their freaking hair out because they're so frustrated with social media, and they're not getting results, but they continue to do the same thing over and over again, and they're driving themselves crazy.
Mm-hmm. And let's talk more about that, about the burnout that happens from them not seeing the success that they want. And like, when you teach, how much work does someone have to put in to posting consistently till they're going to start to see results, would you say, on average?
Yeah, it really depends. But I'm going to say not much, because they're already overcomplicating it. Yeah. And so when they come in and they realize, oh, so I really just have to do these things consistently, even though it's less than what I've typically been doing, they're really shocked, honestly, because also I'll say that everyone, mostly for the most part, gets caught up in like the details that really don't matter. Yes. For example, trending audio is great, but like, it doesn't make or break a post, really, and trends are great, but they're focusing on the wrong things. And so, for example, when they get into a program like mine or someone else's, and they see like the strategies and methods that they actually need to be focusing on, for example, who really is my dream client? What are their deep emotional desires and wants and needs? And now that I have that figured out, whoa, it's so much easier to create content. Yeah, because they really, really know those marketing foundational marketing principles that they've just been totally skimming over, again, for lack of knowledge. Yeah. But now that you know those things, it's a lot easier. It's a lot easier because you're shifting the focus on the things that you think, the vanity metrics, I like to call them. You're focusing on the follower count or the trending audio or the trend or whatever it is. And you're shifting that focus that has been burning you out to now, okay, I truly deeply understand this now, and this is what I need to be doing. And now that I have a strategy and a system to implement it, it's not going to be that hard, So I would say definitely, when someone comes into my world and they get educated on those foundational marketing strategies and they start implementing it, I mean, way less than 2 months, they can start seeing results,
Yeah.
because even just the simplest thing, and I'll, if you don't mind, I'll kind of teach about this real quick. The simplest thing of going and following and interacting with local businesses and local people, that can provide literally immediate results. And it takes like 10 minutes.
It's wild.
Right? It's wild. And then they're like, whoa, this is crazy. Well, when you stop trying to market to estheticians and actually market to your local community, crazy things can happen, and we're going to get you there, right? So, I mean, there are little things that they don't even think about, that when they start doing them, immediate results can happen. Immediate.
And it's so funny that you said that, because I have a thing that I teach called the follow game, which is probably similar to what you do. And I'll teach a new client this, or a client we're at that point in kind of whatever they're doing, and they're like, I'm not following people I don't know. I don't want to do that. And there's just a lot of like, this is weird, and like, I don't want to do that, and like, why would I do that? And like, this is really uncomfortable. But I'm like, it's actually not that uncomfortable, because if they don't follow you back, whatever, it doesn't really matter. You don't remember them. It's not like an actual interaction with a person where you talk to them and they turn around and walk away, and that would like hurt my feelings. Like, someone doesn't follow me back. If I follow like 100 people, I won't know who didn't follow me back, and it won't really hurt me. And the chances of interacting with those people and getting relationships built from those people is so much higher than me just posting to nobody, or just posting to estheticians and not having the right audience. I mean, I think a lot of people post to estheticians every day and then it doesn't work. Well, because you don't have an audience of people who are going to buy from you. So of course, no one's coming in to book from you, because they live 3,000 miles away from you and they also are an esthetician.
Yes. Oh my gosh. I'm so glad we are talking about this. And the other thing that kind of goes along with that is, like, you can't expect, if you truly want to use social media to book clients, you cannot expect to put out content, no matter how amazing it is. You cannot expect to hit that post button and then wait for people to find you. You just can't. You will never see the results that you want from social media if that's how you treat it. And the next step, the 50% is posting and the content strategy.
Yeah.
The other 50%, you're not done there. Your other 50% is building your community online. Yes. And it does not have to be hard. It can literally take 5 minutes 2 times a week. That's all it has to take, right? If you're doing nothing, you can do more, of course, but you can't just post and wait for people to find your content. You need to go follow local businesses, go into your local hashtags, hashtag local, or Phoenix, Arizona. I use that example a lot. I have no idea why. Go into that hashtag, start liking the photos, start following those people that are using those hashtags. And that is bringing people. That's not just sitting and being complacent and just posting and waiting for people to find you. That's going out, making an intentional effort to reach those people that you're actually trying to reach, and then bring them in. Because the more you go and follow new people, most of the time when someone like that isn't using social media to grow their business, like just a regular, Joe Schmo, when they see someone follow them, they're like, oh, who is this? They immediately are like interested and intrigued. They're going to go back to your profile. And now that you've brought them to your profile, now your content strategy does the rest of the work. Right. Exactly. And, the more that you are liking people's posts, you're commenting on their posts, they are going to be like, okay, who is this person that keeps liking our post or is following me? And they're going to go back to your account. And I mean, 5 minutes a day, a couple times a week can make the world of difference in bringing people back to your page. And again, like I said, once they get to your page, then your actual content strategy does the work for you.
Yeah. Do you find that you've taught the system, and again, this is not to shade any of my clients or former clients or just people I know, but I think this is a common thing that people really have a hard time with, is you teach them this simple strategy and they're like, no, it has to be more complicated than that. And they have a hard time following the simple strategy because their brain keeps telling them, but like, it has to be harder. It has to be more complicated than these 3 things or these 4 things to do every day or whatever. Have you found that?
I have a little bit. I won't say, gratefully, I haven't had a lot of that. I think it's because the simple strategy, I make all of my content and education very bite-sized. And I think that that also helps with that.
Yes.
Because when it is bite-sized and like I'm not overcomplicating it, it's easier for them to implement. And once they start implementing, once they get over that, oh, it has to be more complicated, and they actually take action, then they start seeing, oh, wow, yeah, this is the way. And they start seeing those results.
Yeah.
And so I think that, a lot of people probably do that. But I do think that once they make the conscious decision to actually just give it a try, even though they think, oh, this isn't going to work, once they make that conscious effort and put it into action and they see that it's actually going to work and it actually produces results, I think that goes away. But it's getting over that first step, of thinking, oh, this is dumb, this isn't going to work. And okay, but what if it does work,
Right.
Take that step. Yeah.
Yeah. And I always like to lovingly remind my clients that they want their clients to use the home care and everything. And it'd be like their clients taking home products and Googling the products and then sending the messages about what they found on Google. And then, and then like, oh, this so-and-so TikTok says this product would never work. Why did you get, and they're overthinking the routine as opposed to just using the routine and seeing if it will work and giving it a good 3 months. And then maybe even a month and realizing, okay, this product is not that great of a product for my skin, and we figure it out. But they're spending so much time questioning the routine versus just doing the routine. And if you just do the routine, and again, you can't wash your face once a week and expect the routine to work, or use a product once a week, unless that's how the product's designed. But you're not once a week can you do these things and be like, why isn't it working? You have to do it consistently. It doesn't take very long if you do it consistently. But if you make a big deal about it, if you have a lot of stress and anxiety about it, it's going to be really hard to get that routine done.
Yes. And I think that just as humans, we have these like barriers up to anything new. And it's a protection mode, even though it makes no sense
totally.
most of the time. But I think subconsciously we're all like that. When something new comes along, we always have these red flags. Okay, well, what about this? What about this? What about this? And I am wired totally different. And I think that there are also other people out there like me. And I think I'm not the norm also.
Yes.
But I've never been that way. I've always, to a fault also, it can be a fault, but anything new that comes into my world, I'm always see oh, I'm going to do this exactly how, because this is the potential possibility that could be. Whereas, a lot of people think, well, what if it doesn't work? And they focus on that part of it instead of what could be.
Yeah.
And, in my experience, my side of it can also be to a fault, because I will just jump blindly into everything and hope that it works, but also I think it's really important. Mindset is really huge. And I know people, roll their eyes when they say, oh, you got to have a good mindset, whatever. But I truly believe with all of my heart that mindset is a huge piece of being successful, no matter what you're doing, whether it's, growing your business on the business strategy side, or whether it's in your marketing. Your mindset plays a huge, huge, huge part. And I think that when people can shift to what could happen in a good way, rather than focusing on, oh, it's too easy, or it's, this isn't never going to work, just try to focus on it, the things that are positive and what could happen. And the more and it's hard to do, it's really hard to do, but the more you can practice changing your mind and flipping that, like if you catch yourself thinking something like negative, if you can immediately turn it around and be like, okay, but what if it happens this way, like changing it, the easier it will become. I really do believe that everything that we think, our minds are so powerful, and it can really alter the way that things happen for us,
Yes.
depending on what our outlook is. And it is uncomfortable. It can be very uncomfortable, and it can be scary. And but imagine the things that you could achieve if you weren't scared some of the times, or if you did things scared and you still,
Yes. And I think that estheticians may have a perception that people who have been quote unquote successful with marketing, it was never scary for them. But they were scared. They were embarrassed. I mean, I think back to like when I first started talking on stories, because stories, there wasn't video on Instagram, it was just pictures. So the only video was stories. And I would record a story and I never went back and looked at that story. Like I couldn't stand the sound of my voice. I was like, oh my gosh, my bottom teeth are crooked. I never knew that. I only know that because when I'm talking, I can see it. Like all of these, all the vain things started popping out. But I was like, I want my message to come across more than I want this to make me feel like I'm, perfect or whatever. I have to take myself out of this situation and see the bigger picture here, even though it's really uncomfortable.
Yes, that is so true. And I think every single person that has ever used social media to grow a business or to do anything making money wise on social media has been there.
Yes.
And you're totally right, where a lot of people think that it just comes naturally to people. That is not the case. Like even me, like you said, we look back on things that we did at the very beginning and we're like, oh my gosh, but we would never be where we are now if we hadn't started there. And I know this, I see a lot in my community that estheticians have a very hard time showing their face on social media, showing their voice and personality on social media. And I think it just comes with consuming other people's content and comparing yourself.
Yes.
And the more you can shut that out, the easier it gets. And to be frank, like I would love to be able to tell you that you can fill your books with social media without ever showing your face or your voice, but that's just not the case.
No.
People are on social. I mean, think about what the types of posts that you consume, and when you are consuming, which ones attract you more. It's when there's a face. Like nobody. Graphics are great if they're done right, but most of the time it's filler content. It's not going to get you any closer, and people want to make that connection, right?
Yes.
And I tell my estheticians a lot that if someone were to walk into your studio or walk up to you at a coffee shop or at a trade show or something, you're not going to hide behind a curtain. You're going to not show them your face and your voice. It's no different on social media. It feels different because it feels like you can hide.
Yes.
But it's no different. Your potential clients in your community, they want to, if you're using social media to book them, they want to see you. They're never going to book that appointment unless they feel somewhat comfortable with you. They know what you look like. They know what you sound like. They kind of know your personality. They're never going to click book if they don't see that, right? That's why, other forms of marketing are so important too, not just social media, because like I made that example of like, if you're at a trade show, if you're at a community event, people are seeing you. They feel somewhat connected to you, and so they're going to feel comfortable booking an appointment with you. But if you don't allow people to make a connection with you on social media, all your work is for nothing. And it is uncomfortable. Growth is uncomfortable. You're going to grow as a person. You're going to grow as a professional by doing the uncomfortable thing. It will get easier. It will feel super uncomfortable, but you just have to do it. You just have to do it. Don't focus on perfection. Focus on, progressing and learning and growing yourself, and the easier it will become.
Yeah. I mean, if they book an appointment with you, they're going to see your body.
Yes.
They're going to hear your voice. They're going to see your face, the way it moves when you talk. Like Yeah, like that isn't something that you're going to ever avoid. So you might as well start now. And like going back to my own wanting to get some skincare treatments in my area, I live in a much smaller town now, and I've been looking at a lot of esthetician Instagrams, and I don't know anything about these women. I don't feel connected to anyone that I found. And it's like I'm not going to spend like $250 to have a service done with someone who I don't feel like even I know them.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Exactly.
you want to, especially like if you're investing a lot of money, you want to feel like that person could be your friend, that you would enjoy spending that time with them. You want to feel like you know them a little bit, because it can be, especially for, it may be uncomfortable for you to put yourself out there, but it's really uncomfortable for a lot of people to put themselves out there and book an appointment as well.
Mm-hmm.
Like think about what's coming from them. And I always sometimes talk about like kind of like a dating relationship. Like if you wanted to go on a date with someone that you met on the internet, you'd want to know what they looked like and a little bit about their personality. You wouldn't want to go like blind dates are hard for a reason, because it's completely blind. So like make it easier for them to be attracted to coming to see you. It does work. And again, you don't have to be a size 0 with perfect hair and perfect teeth and all this expectations that the beauty industry has put on women. You can just literally be yourself, because you have clients who see you how you are today, and they still book and come back and love you. And so that is all the evidence that you need.
Yes. Wow, that is amazing. I've never had that, like heard that comparison of like it's uncomfortable to put yourself out there, but it's also uncomfortable for people to, I think that is so important, and a good like mindset shift to
Yeah.
have when you're putting yourself out there. And like I say this with the most love and respect, but if you don't want to put yourself out there, if you don't want to show your face on social media, don't waste your time on social media. Just don't do it. Right.
Yeah.
You're going to waste your time. You don't have to do it that often too. Like maybe once every couple of posts. It doesn't have to be every single post.
Exactly.
You don't have to like go all in and it's only ever your face. Like, no, you want to show those before and afters. You want to show those client reviews and testimonials and stuff. But if you truly are, be honest with yourself. If you're truly never going to put your face on your social media, shut your social media down and do other marketing avenues. Do email marketing, you run ads on Google, go to community events. It's going to be a lot harder. But choose your hard,
Gotta choose your heart. They're not, you just because you open a business doesn't mean people know you exist.
Mm-hmm.
And people have to know you exist one way or another. And you can't hide behind the like, well, I opened the business so people should know about me. That isn't a thing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you have to take the initiative to make people, I mean, and again, it comes back to a lot of people just don't know what it takes to be a business owner and to bring people in, and that is a really hard lesson to learn. When they just had no idea, but you're capable. I know,
Totally.
you can do it. You are so capable of so much more than you ever think. And it's the people who push beyond the hard and the uncomfortable that come out resilient and successful, quote unquote.
Yeah.
It's those, and you, if you're listening, you can do it. Absolutely. I don't even know you, and I know that you can do it.
If you've opened a business, if you've done as much as you've done, you have a certain level of resilience and stamina that the average person doesn't have. And so don't let fear of these things be the thing that stops you.
Yes, absolutely. And, it brings me to, I rarely go on to esthetician Facebook groups just because I kind of forget about them, honestly. And I just that's not how I choose to spend my time. But for some reason, the other day, I opened one of the Facebook esthetician groups that I'm in, and I saw a post that just totally, spoke to my heart. And it was this woman who had been solo for however long, and she was just at her breaking point. She's like, I don't know what else to do. I've tried this, I've tried this, I've tried this. Like, help. She was literally just like begging for someone to help her. And it made me think about how important it is to, number one, have a support group and have people that you feel comfortable that you can lean on for support, and people who are willing to give support to. Whether that's a coach, whether that's a community, whatever it is, it's so important to have that. But number two, it reminded me of how important it is to believe in yourself and to have that drive and power to fall back on when you hit those low points, because we have all been there. And you're going, no matter how successful you are, you're going to continue to reach those points in your business, in your career, where you just feel like you don't have any other option. It's time to quit. It's time to be done. But again, it's the people who push past that and believe in their potential that are going to succeed and come out on the other end. And I like the quote. I share this all the time. I have no idea who said it. I wish I could remember. And if you know, let me know, because I share this quote all the time. But oh gosh, and now I'm going to forget exactly how it goes. But it essentially says, there is no such thing as failure. There's only people who quit. And I completely agree with that. And it pushes, being a business owner just pushes you to a whole new level that you absolutely never thought you were capable of feeling, the emotional ranges of feelings that you feel as a business owner. And just know that you're not alone. Everyone goes through this, and you just have to make that conscious decision that you're going to keep pushing forward and have faith that it's going to happen the way that it's supposed to happen,
Yeah. And not beat yourself up when things don't go the way you expect them to go.
Right. Yeah. It's not a linear path to success. It is not a linear path. There is absolutely going to be ups and downs, even when you quote unquote make it. To continue making it, like there's always going, so you just have to just know that those times are coming. You have to accept them, and you have to feel strong enough within yourself and believe in yourself enough to know that you can ride out those things. And of course, mindset is not the only thing. Like, you have to have those strategies put in place, whether it's in your business or whether it's marketing or whatever it is. You have to have those foundational strategies set up so that you can ride those waves.
Yes. And allow yourself to feel frustrated and like that didn't work, but that doesn't mean like that you can't do this. It's not like just because this one thing didn't work the way you want doesn't mean it's a reflection of your ability to be successful or your ability to figure it out. And that's like, you have to know that trial and error is going to be constant in your business. There's never going to be a time in your business where there's no trial and error. It is just clear waters ahead, and not a day that doesn't like, wait, what just happened? Like, that is going to happen no matter how much money you're making, no matter how popular you are on Instagram or TikTok. Because I know TikTok people who are, have $30,000 months by themselves. So I know this is a thing. It's whether you're making $3,000 a month or $30,000 a month, you're going to have struggles. They're going to be different. And one is not easier than the other. I will promise you that. The only difference between 3,000, 30,000 is you have more money, but you also have more expenses, and there's more pressure because it feels like it could crumble at any minute. People have those fears. And so it's not going to get easier if you don't learn to deal with the ups and downs with like grace and persistence.
Yes. And I think that also comes back to the beginning of this conversation. I think that's a really good wraparound, is the more you can shut out everyone else's, they're not running your business. You're not trying to run their business. So why does it even matter? The more you can shut out everything else and just deeply focus on you and your path and where you're trying to get to, the easier it's going to be to ride those waves.
Yeah. And focusing on your client, not even on yourself.
Yes.
I think if we focus on ourselves so much and how we're feeling and how we are afraid we're being perceived, and it's always about us, like how we look on video, we are missing the whole point. And that is to educate, to connect with, have fun with clients and potential clients. And so if you're focused over here on yourself, it is going to be hard to connect with people because they don't feel like you care about them.
Yes. Oh my gosh, I'm so glad you brought that up because that is so true. And even like tying that back into like social media marketing strategy,
Yeah.
that your number one person, like as you go through like one of my programs, for example, we focus so much on the emotions and the needs and desires of the person you're trying to attract and serve.
Yeah.
If you didn't, you would not have a business at all.
Yeah.
You would not be successful. So yeah, that is such a great point.
I love it. Is there anything else that you want to say? Our time, I know we could probably talk for the next 3 hours.
I
Is there
know.
anything else that you want to say to kind of end our conversation? This has been so much fun.
Yeah, I just think that, if you're an esthetician listening, I think the one thing to really take from this conversation is like, you are so capable. You're
Yes.
capable of anything. Think of like the wildest thing that you could ever build of, in your career, in your business. You are so capable of creating that reality for yourself. And, I know that Brittany's here to support you. I'm here to support you. Find someone that you feel connected with, or multiple people, and just let them help you, and help yourself. And you just are so capable. And yeah, you're gonna do amazing things.
Yeah, and don't quit. It's easy to have a bad day or a bad week, a bad month, and want to quit. I know I've been there. I know a lot of my clients have been there. That's totally normal. But you just got to keep going.
Absolutely.
Oh, I'm so excited. Thank you so much for your time.
You're welcome.
And all your knowledge. And again, what's your Instagram?
Yes, everyone can find me at Glow Sis Social on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, wherever you are. That's where I am too.
And you still have a podcast?
I do. Yes, it's called the Empowered Aesthetics Podcast. Yes.
Okay, great. And how often does that come out?
Typically once a week. Yep.
Okay, great.
Sometimes, life happens and I don't get it out every week because I'm not perfect. I have kids. I have all of these other things.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Same. Yeah, I know. I'm like, like last week my daughter was sick and we were talking about this, and now I'm sick. And it's like, so these weeks are going to be low content weeks for me. And that's fine because when I get better, I'll get back in the swing of things. I'm sure I'll have a lot of ideas this week too, And so it's just writing, knowing that this is just how life is. And we just pick up where we, if things happen and we don't make it mean anything about us or our business.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Your worth is definitely not defined by how much content you put out.
0%, not related.
Yes,
well, thank you so much, Shaylee. Thank you for your time. I know you're a busy mom and entrepreneur, and I loved this conversation. This was really fun.
Yes, thank you so much, Brittany. Thank you.
I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.